Shalom, Wakazak Mashpaka. Welcome to another episode of Daily Tonic in the Word, right here on GC Create TV. And I remain your humble host and your brother, Daniel Fierce Lion Yasharala. And today we are going into the next episode, starting from the book of Bere'shiyth, chapter 13, forward. We never can tell, we might go beyond chapter 16, depending on how Yahweh actually might move us today. So let's go into the scriptures. Bere'shiyth chapter 13, taken from verse 1. And it says, And Avram, went up out of Mizraim, he and his woman, and all that they had, and Lot with him, into Negev. And Avram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. And he went on his journey from Negev even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called the name of Yahuwah. Abram called on the name of Yahuwah. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdsmen of Abram's cattle, and the herdsmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray you, between me and you, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before you? Separate yourself, I pray you, from me. If you will take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if you depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the circle of the Jordan, and in it, that it was very watered everywhere, before Yahuwah destroyed Sodom and Amorah, even as the garden of Yahuwah, like in the land of Mizraim, as you come unto Soar. If you observe, at a point, not Abraham and Lot that actually wanted to have misunderstanding or strife, but it was between their herdsmen. That's why something I tell people: when you are given an assignment, don't let your own oversabi, like we say in Nigeria here, don't let your own oversabi be the one that will cause strife among people. What does that mean? You might be given an assignment as a person, but don't let your own assignment now becoming a strife between some people. For example, we have some people that it is their I'll call it their overzealous spirit. It has been entangled with some selfish interests. Because don't get it twisted, it's possible that the herdsmen of either of both might see that their cattle have grown. They might even, I'm using the word might, because it might happen, I'm not sure. It might be possible that the herdsmen of either Abram or Lot might have seen the greatness of the cattle, the income they are having, and they are selling some behind. But I've heard a story whereby I might try to sell Abraham cattle now. Lord's herdsmen might see me and might report me. It's not becoming a strife. It's becoming a kind of hatred among them. It's also happening in the truth as well, whereby some people might be given an assignment, but because of some people who are actually hoping and trying to see how they can defraud their own people for their own selfish interest, they will not end up coming up with the spirit of strife. Just look at it. Let's press on. Remember, Abraham told Lot, we are brethren. Don't let this thing actually become strife among us. You look at what part you might like. If you go to the left, I will go to the right. And if you go to the right, I will go to the left, so that no strife can come between us. Let us press further. Now we are in verse 12. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot verse 11. And Lot chose him all the circle of Yarden, and Lot journeyed east, and they separate themselves the one from the other. 12. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the city of the circle of Yarden, and pitched his tent towards Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before Yahuwah exceedingly. Now, it never said that they were just sinners, but it gave an adjective, exceedingly sinners. Let's press forward. And Yahuwah said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now your eyes and look from the place where you are northwards and southwards and eastwards and westwards, and for all the land which you see, to you will I give it, and to your seed forever. And I will make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall he number your seed also shall be numbered. That is why today we have the children of Yasharel scattered abroad in large numbers. That is why today, according to the curse, according to the prophecy, we have the children of Yasharel, the 12 tribes of Yasharala. They are scattered everywhere in the world in their numbers. If Yah want to do it, he can choose to make the children of Yasharel to be on one spot. Then, according to what we have over here in Nigeria, there's something we call census, where they can count everyone who dwell in a place. But for the fact that Yah has said that they can't be able to count his children, his seeds, that is why they can't count us all. That is why he make us to mix, to dwell in different land around the world. That is why even in some land where we dwell, we see have some headings mixed among us, so that they will not be able to count us. Because remember, the dust of the earth is not only mixed with dust alone. Among the dust, we have pebbles. Pebbles actually are much bigger in size than dust. We also have stones, which are bigger than pebbles. We have rocks on the dust of the earth. Let's keep reading further. Verse 17. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto you. Then Abraham removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Chevron, and built there an altar unto Yahuwah. Bere'shiyth chapter 14. And it came to pass in the day of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elakah, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tilda, king of nations, that this made war with Bera, king of Sidon, and with Bilshar, king of Amorah, and Shinar, king of Admah, and Shemeba, king of Shiviyim, and the king of Bela, which is Sor. Verse 3. All these were joined together in the valley of Siddim, which is the salt sea. 12 years they served Kedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled, and in the 14th year they came and in the 14th year came Kedorlaomer and the king that were with him, and smote the Rephaim in Ashroth, Kanaim, and in Zuzim, in Kam, which is actually Ham, and the Amy in Shaveh Kiyatham, and the Korim in the Mount Shia unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to in Mishpat, which is Kadash, and smote all the countries of Amalekim, which is called Amalekite, and also the Amorim, which is the Amorites, that dwelt in Kashon Tamar. And they went out the king of Sidon, and there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Amorah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Sheviyim, and the king of Bela, the same is Soar, and they joined battle with them in the valley of Siddim, with Kedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with Tilda, and with Tidal, king of nations, and with Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elakah, the 4 kings with 5. And the valley of Siddim was full with slim pits, and the king of Sodom and Amorah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took the goods of Sodom and Amorah and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram in evil, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, and on Mamre the Amori, the brother of Eshcol, and the brother of Anar, and these were confederates with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he harmed his trained servant, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. Now this is to tell you that our ancestors were not weaklings. Abraham had handmaid servants that were trained for war, 318 of them. Yet when we tell you, you be saying the Bible says the battle is the Lord's. You are sick in the head. Our forefathers, they don't play no games. If the scripture can prove that when the soldiers came to take the Messiah, it says that, and Peter took a sword, took a knife, and cut off the soldier's ear. It is a two-way thing. It is either Peter himself, that's Kepha, has a knife with him to show that actually we are always equipped, or maybe he took the knife from the soldier to cut off the soldier's ear. That is to tell you that we are always being skilled for war. So if you're out there saying the battle is the Lord's and you allow the enemy to kill you, you are a fool, a big fool. If Abraham can take his servants who are trained for war, about 319 of them, and send them to war to go and release and take back his cousin Lot. Remember that these same nations, they are a combination of 4 kings in 5 that went to that land to overcome that land. But Abraham sent his own 319 armed men, servants, to go and recover his cousin, and they went to go and recover him. The battle that one kingdom cannot overcome, just 319 skilled and trained servants of Abraham went to overcome those particular people and brought back Lot. Do you think they are just there to be doing this? They are well skilled for war. They are ready to kill. Whatsoever actually is opposing them, going against the will of who they have sent them, they kill. That's a fact. Let's press on. Verse 15. And he divided himself among them, he and the servant, by night, and smote them, and pursued them to Shova, which is in the left hand of Damascus. You see that? Even Abraham himself was not a coward. He divided himself among them. He divided himself against them, he and his servants. Not that he sent the servants alone. But today, we have some people who are in power, who have armed men. But when it's time for trouble, they hide like cowards and send their armed men to go and defend them. What a cowardice. Let's press forward. This is verse 16. And they brought back all the goods. And also brought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer, and all and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's valley. And Malki Tekir and Malki Shedek, king of Shalem, which they call Melchizedek, Melchizedek, king of Shalem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was a priest of El Elyon. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Avram of El Elyon, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed is El Elyon, which has delivered your enemies into your hands. And he gave him tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto Avram, Give me the presents and take the goods to yourself. And Avram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto El Yahuwah, El Elyon, the possessor of heaven and earth, and I will not take from a thread, even of a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is yours, lest you should say, I have made Abraham rich, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Anar, Eshcol, and Mar. Let them take their portion. Can you see that? Abraham never wanted anything in return for the good he did. Abraham sent his 319 soldiers and servants to recover and fight the war that the king of Sodom cannot overcome. And they came back with the spoils. The king was like, Abraham, take your part. But he said, I don't need it. Aside from what my men have eaten from what they took from the recovery, that is all we can say that we have taken. But the rest, take it to yourself, because you don't want the case whereby you will say, I was the one that made Abraham rich. Just look at that.
sponsorship, advert placement, please call or WhatsApp this number +234 811 731 0928.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. So let's continue from where we stopped, chapter 15. After these things, the word of Yahuwah came unto Abram in the vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am your shield and your exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Adonai Yahuwah, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is Eliezer of Damascus? Is this Eliezer of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me you have given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is my heir. And behold, the word of Yahuwah came unto him, saying, This shall not be your heir, because he that shall come forth of your own generation shall be your heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now towards the heavens, and count the stars, if you be able to number them. Then he said unto him, You shall be, so shall your seed be. And he believed in Yahuwah, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am Yahuwah that brought you out of Ur of the Kasdim, to give you this land to inherit it. And he said, Adonai Yahuwah, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me a heifer of 3-year-old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all this, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcass, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. This is going into the prophecy. This is going into the prophecy. What prophecy actually is that? That's the prophecy of slavery. Now, this nation actually, which he was talking about, is the prophecy of slavery. And if you start counting how that 400 years actually started, you will know that it is we who were taken as slaves through the ships. Remember, it's for over 400 years before our people start waking up that truly we are those seeds of Abraham that were taken on slave ships. Let's press further. 15. And you shall go to your fathers in peace, and you shall be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorim is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down, and it came to pass, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. And in the same day Yahuwah cut a covenant with Abram, saying, unto your seed have I given this land, from the river of Mishrim unto the great river, the river Perath. The Canaanims and the Kenavims and the Kadmonim and the Shittim and the Perizim and the Rephaim and the Amorim and the Canaanim and the Girgashim and the Yevushim. And now Sarah, Abram's woman, bore no children, and she had a handmaid in Mishri, whose name was Agar. And Sarah said unto Abram, behold now, Yahuwah has restrained me from bearing. I pray you, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarah. And Sarai, Abram's woman, took Agar, a maid, the Mishri, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to a man, Abram, to be his woman. And he went into Agar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was depressed in her eyes. And Sarah said unto Abram, my wrong be upon you. Now I want you to mark something. Remember that it was Sarai that told Abram to take their handmaid Agar, and maybe they can bear child through her. But the only mistake that Abram made here was, whenever Abram want to do anything, he always go to Yahuwah to consult Yahuwah. But when Sarah said this particular word, he never even go ahead to consult Yahuwah. All he did was to give in to his wife's suggestion. And what actually happened? Truly, Agar conceived. And the same Sarah that said, let us see if we can bear child through Agar, was what? Was despised. She despised. Was looked despised in her eyes. And for that singular act, the same Sarah that said, take my handmaid, was the same person that told Abram that my wrong be upon you. She never said that my wrong be upon me, who asked you to do it. That is why I don't want some sisters. Stop saying that you want to be like our foremother Sarah. Sarah also have her flaws as well. Sarah also have a point whereby she lacks as well. You are meant to say that let me be better than Sarah. Not say that let me be like our foremother Sarah. Let's press on. She said, and Sarah said unto Abram, may my wrong be upon you. I have given my maid into your bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Yahuwah judge between me and you. Now here's the question. Was it Abram's fault or Sarah's fault? It was Sarah that came up with the idea. Abram's mistake was he never consulted Yahuwah before giving in to her suggestion, to her idea. But when she will speak, she said, let Yahuwah judge between me and you. Now she's putting the blame on Abraham. That's why the scripture itself says in 2 Ezra chapter 14, verse 14, it says, set thine house in order. Is this? Let me go there real quick. Give me a minute. The book of 2 Ezra. Let me not quote the wrong scriptures. 2 Ezra chapter 14 and verse 13. And it says, now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove your people, comfort such of them as been in trouble, and now renounce corruption. If Abraham has known that she would have done that, he would have set his house in order, and not said that because she is his wife, he would have consulted Yahuwah before giving in to her suggestion. Verse 6. And Abraham said unto El Sarai, Behold, your handmaid is in your hand. Do to her as it pleases you. And Sarai dealt hardly with her. She fled from her face. Can you see that? Sarah as well, as a point, also has acted like that wicked housewife too. She dealt with Hagar, which was the one that said, take her, maybe we can give birth to her. Sarah now became the tyrant. She became the villain in the house to deal hardly with her handmaid Hagar. Verse 7. And the angel of Yahuwah found her by the fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain of the way in the way to shore. And he said, Hagar, Sarah's maid, whence came you, and whither will you go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of Yahuwah said unto her, return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hands. And the angel of Yahuwah said unto her, I will multiply your seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of Yahuwah said unto her, behold, you are with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahuwah has heard your affliction. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And she called the name of Yahuwah that spoke unto her El Rohi, for she said, have I also here looked after him that sees me? Wherefore the well was called Bere'shiyth. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram called his name, which Hagar bore, Ishmael. And Abram was 60 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. Now we are making it a stop today. Today's episode of the program, like we all know. And yes, we hope to see you again tomorrow for the continuity of the program. It's still your program, Daily Tonic in the Word, right here on GCCREATE TV. And with this, I say shalom and bye for now.